Good afternoon, everyone. You are now watching the Bird's Eye View here on WAUG. I am your host, Demarcus Williams, AVP of Global Marketing and Communications here at St. Augustine's University. We are so excited today to be back on the air here in the WAUG studio. We have some amazing guests that are here to share. I want to first introduce five-time CIAA champion, two as a player, three as a coach at our crosstown rival, Shaw University. Our new women's head coach, Miss LaTasha Shipman-Ganus. And also with us is the 1987 ACC champion, longtime NBA veteran, two-time NBA champion, coach for our men's basketball team, Coach Chucky Brown. How are you all doing this afternoon?
Doing great.
Doing good. I can't complain.
Good. All right, so we're going to jump right in.
Oh, wow.
You know, we're home, so just relax.
Right.
And just want to just go over a few questions with you. So both of you all have had some storied journeys, coming from the same part of the state of North Carolina, near Wilmington, coming from Riegelwood, you come from Leland, small, humble beginnings, and ending up playing at some very successful basketball programs, both in college and in your professional careers. Given the success and the pedigrees that you all have had as a player and as a coach, how have all of these experiences prepared you all for this moment?
All right. I think just being around good coaches and just being around good people, period. And it helps you, you take a little piece from every coach and you put your own little spin on it. So you have an opportunity to do your thing and cook your own meal, to say. So I think that, you know, playing for Coach Valvano, my high school coach, Cliff Gibson, playing for Lenny Wilkins, Paul Silas, Rudy Tomjanovich, Chuck Daly, Rick Adelman. So, you know, the list goes on and on. So, you know, I've taken a little piece of each one of those coaches and, you know, just seeing what they did, and they were all successful. And I think it's just helped me throughout my journey as a coach.
Yeah, and very similar to Coach over here. You know, I had some spectacular coaches that I've worked with over the years. But if I had to pinpoint my most successful moment where I really felt like I transitioned, it came from the players. They taught me so much at each level. You know, I've been Division I, Division II, PWI, CIAA. You know, they've taught me that there is no one size fits all. You know, and that at the same time, going back with coaches I work with, you know, Coach Curtis, we go way, way back. You know, 5 championships under his leadership. And he also taught me about punctual, how to be punctual, how to be on time. I can recall a story. We had to be to work by 8 o'clock, right? So in my mind, I'm a young coach, you know, just getting started. And I wanted to arrive at 8 o'clock. I got there at 7:40. Jock, no, you're late. Not only was I late, he wrote me up, right? 20 minutes. And I'm like, really? You know, so that was one of the things that I've taken from him, the strict, the punctual side. And then along with going with LaDon Gibson, who taught me the nurturing side. She's like a mom. You know, I've seen her transition into this huge role as being that mother to a lot of young ladies who really didn't have that for them in their family and their backgrounds. So I respect her for that. And then Wendy Palmer, she's just a legend. She taught me that Black women are beautiful. So there's an era for every single one, but she did because she wore natural hair. She always kept herself polished, you know, and I recall when she offered me the job, she had no idea that she was like one of the ones, like my idols. Like I adored her, but she would never let me praise her. She said, I'm just like you. Wow. I'm just like you. You and I are just alike. But I didn't understand that, and I wanted to always praise her. And she's like, no, 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 no. So she taught me that being a Black female is beautiful. you know, and then went on, had some more coaches that have helped along the way, but Coach Yao. Because see, people think when you talk about NC State, Carolina, Duke, Shaw, Central, back in our era, there was no D1, D2, black and white. Coach Yao embraced us all. Like my best, my true friends, because I met some sisters at Shaw U. I love my Shaw U sisters. But what people don't know is I have a lot of sisters at NC State and at Carolina because we all played together. You know, we competed. They would come to Shaw Gym and play ball, right? And then we'll be invited to go to their gym and play ball. We never saw black and white. Jennifer Palmetier, one of Coach Yao's assistants, I adore her. She always checks in. So I can go all day long. Like, I love this city. I love this atmosphere. I love the people that I've met along the way. And I'm truly grateful.
Good, good. And both of you all in your playing careers were both known for your grittiness, your toughness. It reflected the attitude of the coaches that you all had and the success that you had. It's no secret that St. Augustine's is going through its challenges now. How have those experiences, you know, just as a player and knowing and always having to do the dirty work and being willing to get your hands dirty and fight, you know, to win and to compete. How has that set you up for the moment that we're in right now?
I think just staying positive. You know, you got to stay positive. I think there's a saying that Evander Holyfield said, "It's not how many times you get knocked down, but it's how many times you get up."
Amen.
And you know, I played for a coach, you know, Coach Valvano, who always said, "Never give up."
Yeah.
So you know, even you know, times, you know, it's dark times, but you know, we're staying positive and doing what we're supposed to do, and we're doing the things that we're supposed to do in order to make this thing get out of these dark times. And we just hope that everybody else is doing the same.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my why is different because I've come from a U.S. Marines, Army family with 2 lieutenants and 1 sergeant. So it's always tough. Like I always had that tough mentality, and I never wanted easy, regardless of which location. Even when, you know, started off at Shaw, we were horrible. Then went on to FAMU, we were horrible. Like and there's been other jobs that have come along the way where it was like instant success, right? They're already winning, but those never really excited me, you know, because you didn't really get an opportunity to put your true stamp on it. So my why is just, I'm a competitor. You know, over time I've picked up some other philosophies along the way, but overall I love the grit, I love the fight, and I've just been around that type of atmosphere my entire life.
Wow. So with all that being said, even though we're where we are now, SAU is no stranger to success in men's and women's basketball. We have 2 CIAA championships on the men's side. We have a women's championship on the women's side. And with all that being said, why did you all choose the head coaching positions here? And given what took place last season with the progress that was made, how were you all both able to build a competitive program so quickly?
Well, for me, it was a good fit for me. You know, I live here. And when I was approached about the job, you know, I used to be over at St. Aug all the time when I was in college. So we came over here and played with them all the time. One of my good friends was DJ. I don't know if you remember DJ, left-hand DJ.
Oh, okay.
But DJ and I used to work out together
in
the summer. So, you know, I had good friends over at St. Aug. You know, Bogey's a good friend of mine. But it was just a good fit. And as far as building a competitive program, I think you have to start with good people. Good people that you know, you don't have to worry about. You know, when you're at home, you don't have to worry about getting a 3 a.m. phone call, one of your guys that got into some trouble or something. You don't have to worry about that. So I think, you know, just getting good people that are winners, that want to do the right thing, because, you know, even though, you know, you're not at a program where, you know, say like a NC State who has unlimited funds, you still appreciate where you're at, and you're still in a better position than someone else, and you appreciate that. So I just want people I look for people that are appreciative and want to work and want to win, and are willing to sacrifice, because nobody wins anything without sacrifice.
Yep. That's good.
I thank Coach Tanner for that. Coach Tanner brought me on as her associate head coach about 2 years ago. Originally I was like, I'm retired. Oh, this is it. We're good to go, right? Who retires like in their early 40s? But I was like, oh no, I'm fine. I have nothing else to prove, So when Coach Tanner gave me that phone call, and she's like, the CIAA, you just been here for so long. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, Raleigh. Gosh, I love Raleigh. Raleigh's always been one of my dreams, and I love the CIAA. And then, yes, I caught some serious steam because, of course, I know about the rivalry between St. Augustine and SAU. But at the end of the day, she know I'm a competitor too. I love women's sports, I love women's basketball, and I will continue that.
Yeah. So, it's no secret. It's a lot of headlines about St. Augustine's University. Everyone right now is talking about St. Augustine's University. All the publications, TV stations, outlets, especially in the HBCU community. A lot of stuff swirling around. But this is our opportunity to let people know the things that you need to know about us. And so as coaches, both of the men's team, the women's team, what do people need to know about St. Augustine's University, men's basketball, women's basketball right now?
Well, now we're here. We're gonna have a season. We're gonna be competitive, and that's it. All of the headlines. Do your research, and see what's going on. So those who are quick to speak. What's my man from it was the Spike Lee movie? The mayor said, "Those who know won't tell, and those who tell don't know." So so don't go out and just be running your mouth without your research.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and everybody's journey looks different. For me, this was fine for me. Like this is right in my neck of the woods, So I can't say what's best for what others should do, but for me, this is exactly where, God told me I needed to be, where I needed to be. And so with that being said, yeah, we are. Like Coach said, we're here. And for the time being that we are here, in whatever capacity that is, we're going to put our best foot forward. That's exactly like he's committed, I'm committed. There are some awesome faculty and staff that are still remaining that truly love this universe, that love this environment. And one of the things that stuck out to me when I first arrived at St. Augustine was the landscape. My father grew up like he couldn't stand the grass, had to be a certain length, right, in the yard. And then my mother, she plants flowers, so we have like a yard full of flowers. And St. Augustine had that. It's very inviting, very inviting. So we're colorful, we're excited, and we're getting ready. We're not ready yet, but we're getting ready. Got some more pieces we need to put together.
All right, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So with all that being said, we had some challenges this semester. But in spite of all of that, our faculty and staff continued to show up, they continued to work hard, and they made sure that our graduates, which included some of the players from last season, finished the semester with an accredited degree. That everyone crossed the stage back in May with an accredited degree from St. Augustine's University. And as coaches, especially in the time that you were here, how did it feel to see some of your players cross this commencement stage, given everything that happened this year?
I mean, it was great because, we went through a lot. We went through more than what most universities go through. I've never seen anything like some of the things that we went through. I've never seen it. I went to NC State and we never had these type of issues. Right. But, it just felt good that those guys were able to focus and concentrate on their schoolwork, as well as, it's already hard being a student, but being a student athlete is even harder. So they were able to do both and were able to walk across that stage. So it felt really good to see those guys do that.
Yeah, and I'm a straight shooter. I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, and indifferent. We have grace of God is how we got through that. Coach Tanner and Coach Nikki, during that time, we always have those conversations of, oh my goodness, what do you say? And it's like, the one thing that we all shared in common was we loved the game. The players that we had here loved the game. So we were able to block out. Now they had still mandatory study hall. We're 6 hours for certain individuals and 8 hours for other individuals, and then 2 hours for those with a 3.8 GPA or higher. So that really worked real well for us, and which will be carrying that same exact routine to this season, keeping the same rules, same profile. Here's the expectations, and we do understand we learn differently, right? We do understand that as well. But for us to still end up with the highest GPA while going through all of that, none but the grace of God and staying focused.
And I want to talk about that now. So as a result, we know commencement passed. Both the women and the men's team led the CIAA with the highest GPA in the conference as a team. How were you all able, you just talked about it briefly, but how were you all able to balance the studies while competing at a high level in the middle of all of these challenges? And are there any specific student success stories that come to your mind when you think about the academic success that the team had this year?
I don't have any particular student success stories, but we just had rules in place, and there were times like you have to correct people that didn't want to go to study hall. You catch them, and hey man, we made sure they got their hours in. So our rules were a little different. So our rules were, everyone had to go first semester. If you get a 3.0, then you didn't have to go. So it's quite simple. Get you a 3.0 if you don't want to go. But we had guys that missed. We disciplined them for it, and I think that helped. Just holding people accountable, and I think that's the key to any success that you're going to have. If you're on the basketball floor, you have to hold guys accountable when they're not doing their job. Same thing as a coach. If they're not doing their job going to study hall, I got to hold them accountable. So, and that's all we did, and that was basically it. When I was very pleased when I found out that we had the highest GPA, so that meant we were doing something right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in academics, that role for every single one of my jobs, regardless of what university I was at, I've always had the academic role. So that just fit in naturally for me. When I tell you about military, Army, U.S. Marines, that is me times 10. I'm going to the classrooms, I'm in the hallway, and sometimes I'm knocking on the door, and there isn't a player that would not tell you otherwise, because I am that kind of person. So for them to be able to do that and still put up with this mouth, right? Because I am still me, And so along with the challenges that we had here at the university, while also going to practice, that was, we still demanded 100% out of them, And there were times when we had to gauge on, you might need to pull back, because mentally, we might not be there with what just came out now. But if I had to pick a success story, it would be Chrissy. I call her Chrissy. That's my nickname for her. She graduated. She was one of the ones with the 4.0. Wow. But what people don't know about Chrissy, when I recruited Chrissy from the JUCO, that was the vet at that time. And she was so quiet, humble, quiet. I remember talking to her, and she would be in her apartment, in her dorm, just closed up by herself. She was not a social butterfly. She came to Raleigh. She came to St. Augustine University. She got in this group, this environment, and she just blossomed times 10. Not just on the athletic side, but even as a person. She joined a sorority. She's taking pictures. And I laugh to this day, because I'm like, wait a minute, you were a hermit crab. You were a hermit crab. So if I had to pick one, she's the one that was huge to me, because of just what she ended up blossoming into.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, and as we talked about the hard work and the discipline, that did show itself on the court as well. Coach Chucky, the men finished the season with the most conference wins since the 2017-2018 season, and also had the most home victories since the championship season in 2010. all while still having the highest GPA in the conference. So how would you what do you attribute a lot of that success to this season, this past season? Given the fact that there were so many naysayers at the start of the season, and given how we finished.
I think just number one, the players buying into what you were telling them and believing, in you that you're gonna guide them the right way. So I think it all goes to them, just believing and just working together. Just like I said, getting good guys that. It was fun to watch them practice and share the ball, and sometimes you had to tell a guy to shoot the ball because they passing up a shot, passing it back because this guy's, like, yo, go ahead and shoot the ball. It's okay. We know you're not selfish, but just them buying in. I mean, it all goes to them. I mean, there were nights when I may draw up a play and we come out of the huddle, and they might see something and go about doing it themselves, you know what I'm saying? So that was, just having the, I forget what the word is that I want to use, but just being able to, just to do that, just to do their own thing, and it worked. So they were able to see things. So I give it all the credit goes to them. I mean, what they say, they say it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Johnnies and the Joes.
Yes,
so
sir.
My Johnnies and Joes, they played well and believed in one another and believed in what I was telling them.
Awesome. And Coach Ganus, both teams were predicted to finish last. The season started with a lot of doubters. And even with the women's team, despite all of the preseason predictions, the women's team exceeded expectations, finished the season 4th in the Southern Division with the most conference wins since 2011-2012 season, and had the first winning record in over 10 years. All while leading the conference with the team GPA. Yeah. What was the motivation behind that? Even before we found out everything going on with the university, everyone had counted St. Augustine's out in terms of basketball even before then. How did that fuel you all to have the success that you had this past season?
Well, Coach Tanner made a point of emphasis every time we got in the middle was to remind them, to remind us of what was said. And there are certain triggers for certain people. So with that being said, there was a percentage of those people that understood what she meant, right? And that was what motivated them. But at the same time, you also have other players that get motivated differently. So it's more so of making certain that they didn't get too high, right? And they didn't get too low. Coach Yao, she did a great job at explaining that because she would allow me to come in her office and sit and talk with her. She used to always have that saying, don't get too high, don't get too low. So for that percentage, they understood that whenever we use that concept, don't get too high, don't get too low. And then that other 33%, they just want to ball at the end of the day. They want to ball at the end of the day. They love Spalding, so everybody's motivation and stuff is different. And once you spend time with players and you get to know them one-on-one, you figure out what their triggers are, their passions, and their love. And we did a great job as a staff during that time to figure those things out.
Oh, that's good. And, of course, the tournament didn't go our way. However, we did continue to fight through adversity, resulting in 2 of our players getting all CIAA honors. Nemo Johnson getting all CIAA, Tanaya Green also getting CIAA, both post players, ironically. How did it feel to watch the players still fight through adversity, especially during the tournament when a lot of the things were first coming out about the university? And for to see some of your players that you have mentored and trained to get the recognition that they deserve?
I mean, it felt good. I had Nemo for 2 years, and Nemo has a very interesting story in his background, and to why he's so headstrong and a leader. So it felt good to see. He was all CIAA rookie team the previous year. He should have made all CIAA his first year. He made all CIAA his second year, but just he was a joy to work with, and I'm glad to see that He was able to go to Prairie View. And, you know, this is a guy that nobody was given an opportunity to. He had no scholarship offers. So, you know, he was great to work with. I'm very proud of him. We still stay in contact. But it was great. I have, you know, nothing but great things to say about him and what he accomplished. And, you know, he did come back better. I told him what he needed to work on over the summer, and he did that. You know what I'm saying? So that shows a young man that's willing to listen and willing to put the work in. And Nemo put the work in, so he trusted his work.
That's good.
So and that's all that happened.
Yeah, for us, we knew we had a nice foundation, right? Tanaya Green, you know, Lauren, you know, Chrissy. We knew we had a great foundation, but we needed some more parts. And that's the part that we don't want to overlook, because sometimes you can have that almost right equation, but you're missing something else, some more ingredients, right, for that pie. And we got that with the Josh, you know, with Shanti, you know, only to name a few. So we graduated 6, even 2 that were not on the team this year. So there was some big shoes to fill with a Tanaya and a Lauren, and as well as the others. But the one thing that stuck out for Lauren, because Lauren didn't get CIAA this year, but she got it last year. So it was hard, because both of them really earned that.
Absolutely.
They really did. And I can count on one hand, I teased Lauren about it, I can count on one hand how many times she's missed practice. We've had these young ladies since they was like for 3 years. For 3 years, we watched them blossom up until that point. So to see them get to that point in their life, and they've always been so competitive. They lead differently, right? They lead differently. Tanaya's, I call her a silent killer, because she's more quiet, right? She's quiet, but she's gonna hurt you on the floor. Lauren is more of vocal. She's going to tell you, because she's developed into a leader over the time. So we were just happy to see them two, you know, go on. They've graduated and went on to their own chosen other universities. But yeah, hate to see them go, but it's part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the process, we're currently in the middle of summer school. I know that might be hard for some people to believe, despite some of the narratives that's been going around. But St. Augustine's University is in the middle of its second summer session, where students are taking accredited courses, and fall registration is currently taking place as we speak. We made a lot of headlines when our athletic director, Dr. Dawson, announced that we would be competing in 11 sports, with 2 of them including men's and women's basketball. That obviously created a lot of questions. But the main question is, are you all currently recruiting, and where are we with that?
Oh yeah, we are currently recruiting. We have probably about 7 guys right now, which I'm, you know, recruiting a specific type of guy. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a mentally tough guy. You can't listen to everything that's being said around you, you know, so listen to all the gossip. Right. So I'm learning guys and probably talking to them a little more than I did in the past. You know what I'm saying? Starting to learn them before. Like before my first 2 years, I recruited a guy that I liked athletically, you know, then when he got here, I learned him. But now I'm learning guys before they get here. What type of guy is this? And there's some guys that I backed off of that good, like normally I would have brought them in, but you know, mentally I don't think you can take it. So, you know, you have to be mentally strong to come and play here because of what's going on around us and what will continue to go on, the gossip that will continue to go on around us. So I am currently recruiting, but I'm recruiting mentally tough, good people, good in the classroom, and just, you know, want to get out and be good in the community as well.
He hit it right on the head. You know, I love that he said mentally. Those are the kind of players that could handle this type of atmosphere and what's been going on. And that is one of my things as well as far as recruitment. Yes, still recruiting. Like I said before, I got some more parts that need to get filled, but there are specific players that with that I'm looking for, not just the athletic side. And yes, we're going to be great in the classroom or perform to the best of our ability in the classroom. But at the same time, I'm looking for those two that are wanting to service. Like we're going to be a servant. And even when there were some players that wanted to come back, once they found out the news and everything about, I was going to be the head coach, I knew they wouldn't fit the overall philosophy for the 2024-2025 team. Because I got to know you as a person. And if I know that you are a me, this team, for this one right now, you wouldn't fit. Because we're not going to be about the me. Right? We're going to be out in the community, right? I told one recruit, I said, if you don't want to be in the soup kitchen, this is not going to be for you, right? If you want lobster and steak and all that great, phenomenal food, this is not the place for you. And I'm not going to be the coach for you. We can take care of your needs and maybe a little bit of wants. But there's a specific type of recruit that, I'm looking for. And they got to be able to serve it. And along with what Coach said, be mentally strong, but also be willing to service others and not just think about you all the time. We're going to get praise. If you're doing well on the court, people are going to praise you everywhere you go. Grocery store, right? The store. You're doing an awesome job. Amazing. But can you pour back into somebody else? That's what I'm looking for. And you got to be able to put the ball through the hoop, too, and play defense.
Amen to that. And on that note, for those of you that are watching, you heard it directly from our coaches. St. Augustine's University is still open. Our students are going to class in summer school. Our teachers are still teaching our students. And we will be competing in basketball as well as 9 other sports for the 2024-25 season. All right. Now, with all that being said, we still know that there are students and parents that are still concerned about the university's future. I know you all have had conversations. We talked about the mental toughness and everything else. What is the plan for this season? And why, or what have you been telling recruits in terms of why they should come and enroll at St. Augustine's this year?
The main thing I've been telling guys is that this would be a good place. Our environment is, honestly, I can't lie, Winston-Salem State probably has the best environment. Our environment is second to Winston-Salem State. As far as like game atmosphere, Raleigh is a great city. You can get the country part if you want the country. You can get the city part if you want the city. It depends on, the individual. But, I've just told people told guys that it's a great place for an opportunity. It's an opportunity where, you can go to NC State, you can go to Shaw, you can go, 30 miles up to Central if you want to. We got plenty of other colleges around here that you could, if you don't want to just stay on campus, which the campus is fun as well, but if you just want to get out and see other stuff, we got Peace, St. Mary's, we got all kinds of colleges right here where you just go mingle and have a good time. It's a lot of diversity here. And it's an opportunity as far as playing wise. You'll have a great opportunity to play because I'm only recruiting guys to play it. So, you'll have an opportunity to play and have an opportunity to shine.
Yeah, and I'm being transparent. I'm telling them good, bad, and indifferent. I'm letting them know off gate what's being said, which part is actually accurate, and what part are they leaving out. And I also make certain to put in there the positive stuff because you don't hear about the positive stuff in the media. They do a phenomenal job at reporting the negative, and that's part of their job, right? And that's part of their job. So it's for us to let people know about the positive stuff. Where we're centrally located, almost close to downtown. There's a reason why this land is in high demand. Let's just be truthful about that. The location is dead on, and then we also have a community of faculty and staff that will love up on you, different from other universities, right? And then you're going to find coaches. Yeah, you can go somewhere and you're going to have a coach that's going to tell you, be worried about your athletic ability. But no, you're going to find that right one that's going to pour into you. Is that looks different when you say pour into a student athlete. It's not what they can get from you. Hey, give, take. No, them pouring into you. And not just about the basketball aspect, right? We're going to have those conversations about internships, jobs, all that stuff that really prepares you for real life. So I always tell the recruits I'm talking to, yes, I give them the bad, I give them the good, but at the end of my closing, I always say, but I'm going to pour into you. And that's going to look different from anywhere else you go.
Thank you both for that. And speaking of being poured into, even up until now, the university has received a lot of support from the community. The alumni have come forward. Various organizations have stepped up, despite the things that have been going on in the news, to really wrap their arms around St. Augustine's University. I know the teams specifically, certain alumni chapters have really adopted our teams. Yep. With all that being said, how has it felt to see so many people, despite what's being said and going on, stepping forward and coming forward to either volunteer their time, make monetary donations, buy food to feed the players, pay for travel? How has the support of the Falcon Pride Initiative impacted the morale of the coaches, the athletes, for this past season and even leading into this upcoming season?
I think it's been great to see, like, you'll get an email saying that this particular chapter is going to feed the team after the game. So like I said, we don't have, an abundance of things, but we take care of what we have. So it's great to see that they've stepped up and they help the team and that they get to meet the team, because I know a big thing for me is always having the former St. Aug guys. Whenever I find out there's a guy around, yo, man, come to practice, talk to the guys, let them know who you are. Because I think that's important to know the history of the school. There's certain guys that, played here at St. Aug that were really good players. Yeah. It's just they came along at a time like Poobie Chapman. Yeah. Really good player that's just around. And I tell Poob all the time, yo, come on by, these guys need to know who you are. Like Bogey, Anthony Bogan. Tell Bogey to come by all the time. Come by. Bogey comes by, talks to the team. So anytime I find out there's a guy that played that's in the area, I want them coming by practice. And like I said, the alumni, feeding us, that's just great to meet them and just see the love, that they have for the program and just the school. The school's been here since 1867. Yes, sir. This is a landmark. Yes, sir. So that's a big reason why the community should support it, because we've watched the community change around here. I know I can remember coming here years ago to play, and you would get in your car, get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? It has become a much better community, much better area. So the support for St. Aug should be much better and much greater, in my opinion.
Amen.
In reference to Coach saying, back in the day when you come here, you have to go play ball and get in your car and take off. See, he would take off, but I would run the neighborhood, like run downtown, but we could never run by ourselves. We had to go in a group, right? We had to go. So I understood exactly what he was saying, so it took me to hear him say that just now, because I'm like, yeah, ran down to Krispy Kreme, but we could never go by ourselves, right?
Well, now you can.
Now you can, but you still miss, I miss the older generation that would be on the porch, right? And they're waving their hand and they're cheering for you as you're running, because we have preseason, early AM preseason, running in the neighborhood. So that will look different, and it has looked different. And that's been something hard for me to take on, because I'm used to having that friendly waving, hey, how you doing? Oh, I saw you on TV, or I saw what you did. So that was hard. So that's one of the reasons too why I decided to even stay here was the alumni. They would give their shirts off their back, their laughs. We had some phenomenal chapters, let me tell you. They grilled, I don't know if you remember, Coach, they grilled the chicken, They had the baked
Oh, yeah.
beans with the real, oh my goodness. The players was going back and forth. No offense to the cafeteria, but they were spoiled rotten. They were spoiled rotten, you know, because they took the time out and they cooked, and the food was delicious. And so my heart pours out to alumni, the churches, anybody that's willing to help. Right? Because it's easy to turn and look away. That's so easy to do. But to go and actually say you contributed, like you did something, you put your hand in it, your sweat in it, you know, that fits differently. And that's why I respect them for that.
Yeah. And to those that are watching, we want to take a brief moment to tell each of you thank you for supporting the Falcon Pride Initiative. Because when you do, you see the examples here with both our men's and women's basketball team. You're helping our student athletes. You're helping the university preserve its accreditation. You're also helping us stabilize our finances. You should see a link in the comments on how to give, but it's at st-aug-edu/Falcon Pride Initiative. We thank each of you for believing in SAU. You've seen the hashtag everywhere. Believe in SAU. We thank each of you for showing that each and every day. Finally, coaches, I've heard the passion in each of your voices, and despite, you know, everything that we've been experiencing, it's clear that you all believe in the institution. And between you, many of our other coaches, our faculty, our staff are continuing, even to this day, to show up for the university.
We are.
And I just want to ask, and I've asked all the guests, you know, that come on this show, and all of you have some familiarity. I mean, you talked about the university being a landmark. It was a rival for you in college. But what is it about SAU that makes this place so special? And why do you believe in St. Augustine's University? Why continue to fight for SAU, and why should our alumni that you just talked about, our faculty and staff, you know, that are still showing up every day, our president, our administration, why should we continue to fight for SAU?
For me, it's the people. You know, I've met some really genuinely nice people here. You know, my man Terrence in the mailroom. You know, you can't meet a better guy than Terrence. You know, Mr. Carrington, who's been here forever. You know, Mr. Carrington and I have had summer league stories for years. It's just, you know, the people. You know, Ann Brown. You know, you have some really nice people that you work with, and I think that they really care genuinely. I mean, you could tell, like, you know, when people aren't genuine, these people are genuine. So I think that's what has made me stay and not give up hope. You know, and just being able to work with young men, and, you know, like I always tell them, you know, I had my day. You know, this is about you. This is your day now. So I just think being able to help, you know, with what I've been through, my journey, and the knowledge that I've gained, to try to help give that to them. You know, because it's more than just about coaching. You know, some of these kids or young men, you know, they don't have both their parents. I was fortunate to have both my parents. I had both my grandparents. I had everything.
Wow.
You know, not everyone, you know, nowadays is that blessed. And I think that's what really, you know, helps me, because, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like, sometimes you look at it and be like, yo, man, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
You know, but then you think about it and you get a phone call. You know, I got a phone call from a young man, you know, my man Rick. And I saw a video, and you know, this type of thing can be, I'm a human.
Right.
So I can only take so much.
Right.
And I watched a video from a young man, an 8th grader, and, you know, he called me. His dad, I knew his dad, and I said, man, you know, he put his son on the phone, and I said, you know what? Watching your video made me want to continue to do this. And I meant that.
Wow.
You know, so it's just those type of things, like trying to help people, and just like the phone calls I get from other guys trying to get into this business makes me want to do this and do it well, to where maybe if I get an opportunity to hire them, I can. So that's what, you know, helps me, and just being with my kids. Like my daughter plays, and just being able to work with her over at St. Aug's gym. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that make me want to, you know, just be here, you know.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, and why SAU? To be honest, the cause. You know, the cause. You know, there's an opportunity to do something that has never been done, while also being in this kind of condition that we're in, right? That by itself is monumental. That's huge. You know, if we can pull that off. Yeah. Because I'm not saying that everything is perfect, because that's crazy, right? There is no perfection over here on this side. And we're not saying that we're out of the dark cloud, because I told you, I'm a realist too. I'm going to be very truthful, you know. But while we're in this moment, at this exact moment, we're fighting for the cause, for the people, for the culture, for the environment, right? And for the opportunity for student athletes to see what we've seen growing up in this city for a long, long time. A long time.
Wow.
That's the cause.
Wow. Well, I just want to take a moment just to thank both of you all. It is truly an honor to be able to sit down with both of you. Both of you have had storied careers, and I have a chance to even now pioneer and lead our men's and women's basketball teams through a critical moment in the university's history. With that being said, I mean, there's probably recruits that are going to come back and watch this recording, parents as well. Are there any last words that either of you would like to share to our viewers, recruits, parents, any last words that they need to know from you today?
Hey, just know that if you decide that you want to come here, you're going to get the best. You know, you're going to get people that genuinely care. You know, we don't, you know, I've been places where they're giving up on people, you know, and I believe that people, you know, when they're in a place where they don't believe in themselves, sometimes it takes a little help. And if you can help them by showing them that you believe in them, that helps them believe in themselves. So you'll come to a place that people are genuine, that will genuinely care about you. And then, like I said, it won't be, you know, everybody ain't built for this. You know what I'm saying? It won't be glitz and glamour, but, you know, it'll be love. You know what I'm saying? So that's it.
Yeah. So I like to say I'm still actively recruiting. Right, we have about 4 more spots we'd love to fill, but it's very specific. Like Coach said, mentally strong would be one of those areas that you definitely must have, along with you having that athletic ability, right? And then also being a servant. If you can't serve, then there's nothing for us to have a conversation about. Nothing at all. Because that, don't get me wrong, all that stuff I mentioned before is important, but if you're not willing to step outside of yourself, because we're in an environment now where I'm noticing that a lot of the youth they're caught in social media, right? They're in their own world. They're in their own bubble, and they have no idea what is really out there. And so they won't know until we're servicing and we're mingling. So that's why I would say to the recruits, but I want to talk to the donors and the sponsors, along with the link that is also being shown on the website. You can also give to women's basketball as well. We have some needs. I really want to do some yoga, work on mental health stuff, and that stuff costs. Like, I really have some great ideas that I really want to put together as far as team bonding goes, that will bring us closer together to be able to perform on the court.
Well, thank you so much to you both. And thank you to all of the viewers that watched the 10th episode of the Bird's Eye View. And we want to encourage you, just as you heard Coach Brown and Coach Ganus say, please continue to support the Falcon Pride Initiative. We are in a new fiscal year, but the needs are still there. And again, as I stated before, when you support the Falcon Pride Initiative, you are also supporting SAU athletics, which means our men's and women's basketball teams. You're helping us preserve our accreditation, and you're helping us stabilize our finances. We want to thank you for believing in St. Augustine's University. You've seen the hashtags, believe in SAU. Put it in the comments if you're still watching. But until next time, this is Demarcus Williams, AVP of Global Marketing and Communications, and you are watching The Bird's Eye View on WAUG. God bless you, and Falcon Pride.